Now, the rest of the story.
Here we got a cow update. She's one of my heifers that was around my house this summer. She's actually really filled out. Winter coats are fully in, and they're just big old teddy bears that just refuse to let me hug them. Calves out here are really picking up. They've been weaned off now since the 24th of October, and other than they got kind of dirty on me from the weather we had, but now that they have plenty of that nice dry fodder to lay on, they've actually really cleaned up here. You can see they're really starting to clear up again, or clean up again. But with what they're getting for feed, just in the last month, I'm really happy with how they look. I mean, he is number 66. I've been calling him Homer, but he's out of that tan one right there. That's his mama, and probably the best one out of all of them. So they're getting their corn, they're getting a lick tub, they got salt. They actually are going through the corn fodder, they're bedding a lot more than I thought they would. They're actually going for that more than they're going for the grass and the bunk feeder. You gonna come down and give us a better look at you? So I gotta run them through the chute now that we've pretty well progressed past any and all field work. I mean, we might try to get some chiseling done, and then we hauled manure today, of course, but he's a really nice looking calf. You can see right down the center of his face, he's got just a little bit of tinge of white. That's that white specklish freckles almost mixed in with his hair. But other than his white feet, I wish they all looked just like him. And I walk through them every day. Try to anyway. I wasn't through harvest, but overall they're happy. I mean, I wish I had more of them, and I hopefully will next year. I guess I would call these guys a trial run. I'm definitely, what I want to do different for next year is I'm going to try to creep feed them. At the very least, I'm going to section off. That gate actually folds out, swings this way. So I'm going to actually leave it hanging, but then bring it out this direction. And either I'm going to add more gates or get some freestanding panels and section it off like up to that post, so they can have like in front of the barn there and this area. But then I want to make a, what are you sneaking up on me for? I'm going to make a calf creep panel that I'm either going to put right here, or so at least my calves next year can get underneath it. I'm going to give them a protein tub, and I'm going to try to get them started. Cat got too brave. Get them started on some oats, maybe a little corn, and kind of encourage the calves to grow along a little bit quicker than they did. But definitely they've really turned around from what they were. And you guys are noticing it's all corn fodder they got out here. Was giving them grass, giving them hay, and I was noticing that they were really going gung-ho on the fodder. And Dad said, like, when he was growing up, all they ever used to give their beef cattle was corn stacks. And you know, I've never really done the whole putting fodder into the bale rings like this before. I'm not willing to do it in my bunk feeder because that'll just make a mess. Well, you guys can see why, but they're pulling a lot of it out. And they're going through and they're getting all the leaves and the corn. And if you guys are at least able to see that, these guys aren't taking any hurt at all. I mean, they look really nice. Big teddy bears, I swear. We didn't figure that out right away, why the cats are running around here looking all homely. Yeah, it's because they come out and they rub up against the cows and the cows lick them. But yeah, there isn't any hay out here at the moment. And kind of surprised that it's working out like it is. The cows aren't bawling for feed. They got all the water they want. As far as the salt, I just replenished the salt yesterday. that is something that they were needing. I will say that. Trying an experiment. I was told that, because I was always doing the trace mineral blocks, okay? But we got trace mineral block, we got a regular salt block, then I got 100 pounds of the granular trace mineral salt. And reason being, as I was told, that they can't lick the blocks enough to get any real value out of them before they get bored licking on it. So when you give them this granular, they can get more benefit from it. And to be honest with you, for how crazy stupid they got when I dumped this stuff in, I'm seeing some truth to it. So just trying to keep their minerals in front of them. I don't have a protein tub out here for them, but I want to incorporate that in for at least my cows here. Either throw one in every XYZ so amount of time. But the fodder we've made this year is probably the best fodder we've made in the last 4 or 5 years, largely just because it's dry. The stuff that we wrapped, Ryan is feeding the wrapped stuff. We got 50 bales out at his place. It's the exact same stuff. We wrapped it the exact same night. He says that it smells really sweet coming out. The stuff, it had some greenness to it when we made it. And he said that he's going through his fodder bales a little bit quicker than he thought he would, largely because the cows are eating it rather than laying on it. So they are gonna spread a bunch of it around and they're gonna lay on it. And as you guys can see, my cows are fairly clean for the most part. You get the random one that looks like they've been pooped on, but see, look at this. Well, I'm gonna say the cats aren't afraid of anything. You think they should be. It's all fun and games until you get hurt. And here's my one fall calf. I'm gonna like seeing the babies, but he's officially got to the point where he doesn't trust me. I don't know why. All he did was get his tag, and well, you guys saw everything I did to him. Got the probiotics and everything. Definitely. Oh. Just got done putting bales in. Got a bunch of net wrap I gotta clean up. And these are the last bales that we had made in regards to fodder. And noticing how warm they are. And the cows are going nuts for them. I'm doing 3 bales in the lot here. And I put 1 bale into my bunk feeder. I just kind of tear it up, and I can make 1 bale last about 3 days. I just got to push it up to the one side because the cows only have access to the far side of the bunk. But welcome to December in Wisconsin, where the sun is either setting or just coming up or just setting, because we get to about noon and it's already seeming like the sun's about down. Cows look good. These are heifers right through here, a little bit smaller, but overall they look really nice. Nice heavy winter coats, going through their salt really good. And I know you use the feed that you gotta get, but goes right back to my original statement of some of the best fodder we've made in recent years. And that's actually the first I've really seen how much they're starting to, well, they're warm on the inside, and they smell like corn silage. Not very strongly, but when I put 3 bales in the feeders like this, there's not a heck of a whole lot left. This is it. This is after 3 days. Today is Thursday. I put these in on Monday, and all you pretty much have left is just stalks. No molasses. Seems like I go through that every year or two, or maybe I need to go through and put some of that liquid molasses on it. And don't get me wrong, I honestly would go ahead and do it if I felt they needed it. I'm not seeing any deterioration in the body condition on my cows, and I mean, why spend money if you're not really getting much benefit from it? A lot of it is going to the trace mineral salt, the granular. I've been giving them trace mineral blocks, but as you can see, the straight salt and the granular, they're going nuts over, and they're hardly touching the trace mineral block. They don't they get bored with it after a while, and they decide they don't want to keep looking at it, try to get what they need out of it. So this time of year I don't really worry about opening and shutting gates, because honestly, where are they going to go? Right around my stack of fodder bales, and that'll be it. So mild winter up to this point in time, I'm fine with it. We're going out to chisel plow, or try to chisel plow some more right now, and it just makes winter that much more bearable if you're not fighting 0-degree temps and 3 foot of snow every time you got to go out and feed cattle, which I'm grateful for.
I look as rough as I look as rough as I feel, at least. So seems like I just put this thing away, which it was only like 3 months ago. But my calves are burning through feed at a pretty good pace. We're down, a quarter of the way down from the top of the cone in my feed bin. And if you've ever used these bulk bins, once you get down in the cone, there's not a lot of feed in there. I mean, I can probably feed another 4 or 5 days and I'd be good. The problem with that is, well, you can see the chisel plows are still hooked up, and for being mid-December, I mean, kind of froze right now. It got down to 17 degrees last night, but for the forecast, we've done, we got a little over 100 acres done in the last 2 days, which isn't bad. Seems how we've only ran, start at noon and maybe run for about 8 or 9 hours, and then the ground starts to get hard again. But I'd rather do a poor job of chiseling in the fall versus a beautiful, perfect job in the spring. And at least outside of, I got 20 acres left of corn that's going to be corn on corn. I most definitely want to have that worked before we're done for the year, because I mean, I think corn on corn ground, getting that ground worked up before the freeze is important. So gonna go through, this is corn from last year, you believe that? So 2022 corn is getting mixed up and fed to my calves. Not gonna be a whole lot left here. Probably gonna end up feeding the last of it to my cows over the winter, just to kind of supplement them. And what I'm looking at doing next year, I don't know if I really want to trust leaving this stuff until this summer, but I'm looking at creep feeding my calves next summer, get them started on grain a little bit sooner, just to kind of move them along. The 60 days, weaning them and graining them for 60 days, it's working for my calves. I mean, they look really nice compared to when I weaned them off. I mean, I'm just seeing how much they've changed. But this bin's really not good for storing corn long term, so it's just kind of become an impromptu feed bin for now. And if I can find, well, the local hay auction, if you watch, they tend to get a wagon or two of oats every year. And I might actually try to get some oats and either dump it in my bulk bin, or if I have a little bit of corn left around here, I actually mix like a quarter of a feed mix with corn and then do the rest with oats. One thing I want to do different, or I want to set myself up different for next year, I want to quit using the hammer on this machine. We got a roller mill in the old grain room, hasn't been used in a while. I'm looking at actually pulling that out of the grain room and putting some kind of stand or mount on it so we can move it with the skid steer or whatever I have to, so I can actually get it set up over here and run my corn through the roller mill. I'm getting too much fines, too much powder through the hammers, and that's inconsistent. If I run a screen, we got the bigger hold screen, and I'm just worried this is going to grind it up too much. All I want is the corn kernels to just be cracked, so the calves can process them a lot better than, pushing them just completely through their system, and then they're pooping out whole kernels. And I'm not getting a return on that. I just don't like seeing that. So let's see. My dogs are out here trying to help me, if you want to call it that. 4020 got called to duty. It's the first job it's had since running the grain auger. I'm not going to run it very fast, only about 1,000 RPMs. That's good. I've had this auger running more or less just to get the oil warmed up. That corn is actually the corn from the cleanings, or testing the corn moisture this fall. And I'm gonna have to go in and move the sweep.